I am currently sitting inside of my laundry basket inside of my closet, or as I like to call it, the one place they can't hear me cry. I think if you're raised with an angry man in your house, there will always be an angry man in your house. You will find him, even when he is not there. And if one day you find that there is no angry man in your house, well, you will go find one and invite him in. This is a short quote from a poem that has been floating around TikTok recently. You might see really like funky little animatics where people are basically drawing like them having an abusive father of some sort and then later leading on to them having an abusive partner or becoming this angry abusive version of their fathers that they once saw. And I thought to myself, what if I take this quote and take it completely out of context so I could talk about anger? I really wish I had the balls to be more angry because to me, I was in that exact same position a lot of people find themselves, where they grew up in a house where anger was connected to violence, and so they thought to themselves, you will never ever be this angry of a person. You will be calm, you will be peaceful, you will be collected, because you know what anger looks like, or at least in your head, you understood what anger looks like. Anger looked like violence. Anger looked like having a getaway plan if things got too serious. Anger looked like not knowing if it was safe enough to go outside of your room yet. That is what anger was to me back then. I developed this very chill, peaceful, stoic personality where nothing bothered me, where I could not be bothered by anything. I was very proud of how stoic I was able to become, about how I just learned that, you know, it's better to let things go and not to cause conflict, because to me, conflict would lead to anger and anger would lead to violence. And this ended up messing me a lot more because I kind of became a shell of a person who would just let people walk over them. And though I would always talk big game about how I stand up for myself, I would avoid conflict like at all costs. I'd avoid conflict like it was the plague, and that is not a very healthy thing. Now, it doesn't help that when I was younger, I was always considered very much a hot-headed person. Maybe it's the Aries energy inside of me or something, because I'm kind of realizing now just how much on the spectrum I probably was, and how much of the world I didn't understand, and how many things I hated, and I was trying to communicate it, but I didn't know how to communicate it, so it came out as in anger, because that's normal, because that's what humans usually do. I kind of would let people walk over me sometimes, because I just thought to myself, I don't want to be angry. And I wish I would have go back and slapped myself and be like, no, you had every damn right to be angry. My anger was my body's way of telling me that it knows that some boundaries have been crossed, that something is not right, that I am being mistreated of some sort, and I was just too disconnected from how I actually felt. Because to me, it didn't matter what my body was actually feeling as long as I remained this stoic, calm person. It was very much just a persona I put on top of the actual emotions I was feeling. So after years of lying to myself that I am not hurt, that things didn't affect me, that I am not angry about the things that happened to me, I became really disconnected from myself and very out of tune with how I actually feel in a lot of given situations. I think I'm always looking for someone to tell me how I'm supposed to feel about things, which part of it might be like because I'm definitely on a spectrum of some stuff. And then one day I was talking to a family member and I was talking to them about a thing that I didn't like that they did, and it was a very calm conversation. And then they said to me this, and I'll never forget it because it made me realize a lot of things really quick. They said to me, you're always just so angry. You've always been so angry. And my entire perception of them and my entire perception of myself kind of shattered, because I had realized in that moment that I was angry. I was really f***ing angry, and I had every right to be angry. And I am not an angry person. I am not an angry man. I am a man who knows when the they've had enough. Congratulations, you basically discovered what being a colored woman feels like. It dawned on me that in my situation, personal situation, that I will be told not to be angry the moment I start standing up for myself. The moment I actually talk about things that hurt me and address them. The moment I will cause conflict because I know we need to come to some resolution of some sort because things cannot continue this certain way. And it sucks because it feels like I'm a foreigner in my own body and it's speaking to me in a language I no longer understand. I'm not saying go out there and light fire unless that's your style, and if so, carry on. But I'm saying you need to stand on business sometimes, and sometimes people are not gonna like the way you talk, and sometimes people are not gonna really enjoy your tone, but things have to be said. And if that comes off as unpleasant to some people, well, no shit, Sherlock. When you grow up in an environment where crying is seen more as an annoying disturbance than anything, you learn really quick that no one cares, and that it's better to just stick quiet. And it's a numbing feeling. If I had anything to say to my younger self, and I'm so proud that you want to be a bigger person, you're trying to turn up your chin, and you try not to let things bother you, and that's all good and fun and games, but how much of this is you thinking you're just simply above it all, and how much of it is really just you having a lack of self-respect? Because this nonchalant personality you're putting out has no principles, and it's flimsy. This video is not for people who keep finding them in the same abusive patterns in relationships. This is for the people who need to understand that anger is not a bad thing. Especially with anger, I think there's a bunch of shame and guilt that comes to feeling with it, because we're always shown people who are angry as basically bad people, violent people. Maybe you grew up with someone who's a very violent, angry person, but that doesn't have to be your situation. That doesn't have to be your reality. Give yourself permission to be angry. Thank you for coming to my closet, and as always, later, stranger.